Let's talk great endings. Welcome back to Kevin Toll Reads. I am here with another video in my Let Me Know series. Recently, a couple videos ago, I did Let Me Know number 14, where I talk about which books would you change the ending of. And I got quite a bit of feedback, as I do with this series. I get a lot of feedback, which is great. That's the reason I do this. I did get one comment from commenter Jack Walter 5970, and he gave me some examples of books that he thought had bad endings that he would change. But he did pose a question. He said, on the flip side, how about a video with the best endings? And so, Jack, here we are. And so today's topic is, what books have great endings? Now, this is a huge matter of subjectivity and personal opinion, and I get that. I do have some examples here, but I am always interested in your examples and your comments, so that's why we're here. But before we get to that, I want to go through some of my examples here. And so my first one, in the fantasy genre, grim dark fantasy, the master himself, Joe Abercrombie, I have The Last Argument of Kings, which is book number 3 in the First Law trilogy, the original trilogy. I think this does a great job of ending this trilogy. It's one of my favorite books by Abercrombie, period. You really have to take this one and maybe one of the standalones and then go to the Age of Madness trilogy, which all of those books take place in his First Law world. But this is definitely in my top 2 or 3 books by Abercrombie. But this does justice to the trilogy, in the First Law trilogy, really well. You have Giselle, you have Glokta, you have Logan Ninefingers, and there's a lot of other subplots and threads that get kind of woven and dealt with. I just think it really sets the tone, it sets the ending up really well. I just really enjoyed it. It was a really good cap off to a trilogy. My second one, I gush about this book a lot, and there's for good reason. I think it is underrated, but I think it's now gaining such popularity that it might even be, over the course of the last 6 to 9 months, overrated. But it's one of my favorite books, and I think its ending's really good, and that is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I don't want to spoil any of these books, so I'll just leave it at this. The ending of this book got me really emotional, and for a good reason, because of the 2 main characters, and then what happens to Rylan at the end. It is just very well done. My next and final example, and I get a lot of flack for this from Steve Donahue and others, Dustin Neely, to name a few, but King does bad endings. King's my favorite author. Used to be by a lot, but now it's getting closer to some others. But he does endings terribly. He just does. Over 75, 80 books, and a lot of his endings are just garbage. But I enjoy it for the journey and the thought and the ideas and how crazy everything is. So with that being said, there are some books to choose from when it comes to King and endings. I could have gone with Misery. I could have gone with 11/22/63. I could have gone with The Dark Tower, although that's probably going to open myself up to a lot of criticism, because a lot of people hate The Dark Tower, book 7, and how it ended. But I personally like it. I think it makes a lot of sense. But with that said, my pick is Doohickey, one of my favorite King books as well. The one thing I will give King credit for is he is not afraid to kill characters. And this ending of this book is the story is done so well, and he wraps this book up. This book feels like a nice finish to a book. And I don't have to have everything driven out. I don't have to have all plot lines, questions answered. I don't have to have every bad guy getting his just treats, so to speak. But I do like when the major themes or the major plots are taken care of, whether it's directly or indirectly, to where it satisfies the reader. And I think this one's a really good example from King. And so, my long-winded examples leads us to the final part of these videos, and I'm interested in your examples of books with great endings. So, as always, let me know, and I'll talk to you all on the next one.
3, 2, 1.